even just the title, like, what if Thor was an only brother, an only son? It's like,
didn't need.
What if Black Widow was on benefits? Like, it's kind of like, what if Tony Stark like lost an eye? Like, it's kind of like, do you know what I mean? Hello and welcome back to the Geek Week in review with me, Jacob's Toys, of course, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell, and Ryan Speaks Geek. If, of course, you're enjoying the show, then please do like, share, subscribe, and all those things. Do check the description below for Sorrell's details and Ryan's details. And if you are listening on podcast, then please also check the details, check out the social pages and various bits and bobs, and check it out on YouTube if you can. All right, gents. Well, this week been an interesting one. Been very Star Wars heavy. I'm going to admit.
Yeah, I'm
very Star Wars heavy. Very Star Wars heavy. So let's get my favorite part through. Let's get the Marvel bit out of the way, because I think we've got a lot to unbox when it comes to Star Wars. Not literally. There's no unboxing taking place in this video, as far as I'm aware. Or is there? Yeah. So let's just go straight off the bat with the Doctor Strange figure reveal. So we talked last week, and I think it was you, Sorrell, that said that there was like a tease, wasn't there? There's like a cryptic message about Marvelous Mondays, and then lo and behold, we got Doctor Strange.
Thank God. I've been after that Doctor Strange for years, man. I've been using my select one, which is far too large. So I'm finally happy that we've got that same kind of one now in Marvel Legends.
Yeah.
It's actually more or less the same one, actually, because they've got that select one, which came with the blue head and everything as well, didn't it? Because I got the Disney Store exclusive one, which came with the blue head and the medallion and what have you.
Was that the one that came with the window at the back?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's a lovely one. It's very similar. I mean, it's the classic costume, isn't it? So we had it in Toy Biz years and years ago, but he came with that kind of ridiculously, ashamed of my body cape, I called it, because it just kind of came out and went out, didn't it? And all you could see was this head and nothing else, and I had that on my shelf for quite some time. But as new figures came out, it just looked more and more dated, and I eventually got rid of it. So I'm really happy that they've finally gone there and given us this one. I mean, it was inevitable, wasn't it? They're always going to give us a classic Strange, and it's one that people have been crying out for years and years and years.
Perfect time to release it. The new film's coming out. He's popular from the What If program, so yeah, it's a good time to get it out. Exactly.
I'm not sure on the exact date that it launches. It's all a bit cryptic, isn't it?
No, but the Americans were up in arms again because it was an exclusive.
Another exclusive, yes.
I know for us in the UK, we have
many
kind of
exclusives.
I know we sit there in the UK and kind of just sort of go, okay, it's exclusive, but we get it through our quite decent online toy sellers, like Kapow and stuff. They get them in quite easily for us. I feel sorry for some of the Americans that do have to go hunt these things down in stores and can't get them.
You know what? The only exclusive that came out in recent years that was hard to get, I think, because we had the things with like Danny Moonstar and the Cuckoos and stuff, but they did kind of surface, didn't they? Is that Worthy Cap? That Worthy Cap from Endgame? Yeah. He was like gold dust, wasn't he? Like he would pop up pre-order and then go.
I think it is gold dustish. I don't see many of them in the secondhand market.
No, and the funny thing is he's not that different to some of the other captains. Like you could easily throw one together. And I've got him. But to be perfectly honest with you, I've got a custom head on him that I got from one of the customizers. I've got a custom shield on him, and it's kind of not really the figure that I got, if that makes sense. And he's got the weakest knees, I think, in all of my Captain Americas. But yeah, he's the only exclusive that we really had trouble with. Knees.
I never bothered with him because I always had the battle damaged box set from Disney Store, so I already had a battle damaged one. Yeah, I already had a battle damaged Cap and Iron Man, so I just kind of threw a different head on that one and put Mjolnir in his hand with the shield, and you're done.
And then there you go. Yeah,
technically every figure is a builder figure. It's wonderful.
It is.
I think though that is one thing I do like about Marvel Legends. They are so easy to kit bash because all the joints and everything usually are the same with all across the waves. So you can kind of kit bash very easily with Marvel Legends compared to some other lines.
Oh, definitely. And with very minimal kind of customization skills, if you like. You know, it doesn't have to be like a straight kit bash. You can actually like hollow out pegs and you know, add bits of blue tack if you haven't got anything better to fill things out and stuff. But yeah, I mean, he was the only exclusive that we really struggled to get, but I can't see any problems with this. I think that we'll get it from our wonderful retailers. Yeah, so I mean, I'm excited for it. I'm pleased that we finally got him. Yeah, I mean, that was it figure wise. There wasn't really anything else. I mean, obviously the Sentinel.
So as you can see,
landing in the UK. started landing in the UK. And interestingly enough, we've had it really dropped in different sort of waves, if you like. Like there's still people that are waiting on getting them now. When some people got them on the Friday, you know, sort of 3 or 4 to 5 days later, which I'm surprised about. I'm really surprised about. But I think that Xavi came through. Everyone kind of doubted Xavi, that when we found out it was Xavi that was going to be the UK provider, and for the most part, they've come through. So yeah, I mean, apart from that, there really wasn't much more figure news.
Probably restored a few people's faith in the Razor Crest pre-orders with Xavi, because I know some people were again a bit unsure about that. Although a lot of people are sort of joking that, you know, there's more chance of it being rebuilt on the show than it is actually being manufactured at this rate. But
because correct me if I'm wrong,
bad. I want a big figure in the background as well. I'm just gonna start having a competition where who can have the biggest figure in the background.
Sorrell wins. It's Turbo Man.
It's always Turbo Man. Put the cookie down.
Yeah. No, it's Turbo Man is definitely it. But no, interestingly, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Razor Crest and the Sentinel came out around about the same time, did they not? They were funded around the same time.
Very close, because I know a lot of people were pretty miffed, because obviously you've got fans, and you know, like all of us really, you know, that aren't big Star Wars fans, but also big Marvel fans, X-Men fans, you know, and then you suddenly got this Razor Crest as well, which is like everyone's saying like Mandalorian is the show that's sort of saving Star Wars and everything. So it's the iconic vehicle, and then it's like something as iconic as the Sentinel in such short space of time. Is like, how do you expect people to have come up with, like, at that point, like 800 quid, you know, 900 quid, you know, you're talking about almost a grand worth of toys in such a short space of time. You know, these are like one a year items, maybe tops, you know, maybe once every couple of years for a lot of people with, you know, their collecting budget.
Yeah. I mean, I must say now, I mean, I've said it on the video before, and I think I've said it to both of you, but he's an awesome piece of kit. Like, you know, it's restored any doubts I had in the idea of the Haslab stuff. He really is cool, and I'm looking forward to displaying him. But yeah, that's it for toys, Marvel wise. Not very exciting. Not very big.
No, they very, very quiet week for Marvel in regards to toys. Again, I think it was on purpose because of all the Star Wars stuff coming out. I think the new what was coming with Star Wars was going to be popular. So I think they kind of let that, a couple like that little Doctor Strange one go, and then let Star Wars do its thing, and then we might hear again from Marvel early this week, I reckon.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they keep saying there's more to be announced before the convention, which is in 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so it make me wonder if there's going to be even that much announced at the convention, or if it's going to be really minimal announcements when it's actually there.
Well, I think the whole point of it is to say what's coming in the future. I think there's going to be a lot more things about pipeline rather than actual stuff that we can see now, material.
It's changed, hasn't it? I mean, obviously, back in the pre-pandemic days, the cons were where you kind of found all the new stuff that you could order, and you had to sort of get your money saved up for the con. Whereas now it is sort of drip fed through. And I think you're right. I think pipeline, they have a platform to do this pipeline and kind of keep people invested long term. So I think that from a marketing point of view, I think it would make sense to make the cons very much about this is what's coming, and then just keep dripping it as they are. And
I am loving the fact that Hasbro have definitely tapped into the creators market now, and are definitely giving more people more opportunities more often to announce and talk about the releases.
Oh yeah.
So it's very much becoming a for collectors by collectors kind of thing now, which I like.
I'm still waiting for my phone call. I'm not gonna lie. It's I'm still waiting for mine. So
I've got to say, I when I saw that Boog Nice got his finally, I was really pleased for the guy, because he is one of the OGs and he's still got quite a
massive thing,
like a medium sub count compared to some of the others that have flew out of there. He's kind of one of the OGs when it comes to video toy creating. So I do feel for the guy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but what an awesome reveal to get. I mean, there are some figures that were revealed that shirtless Wolverine. I'm just saying, like, can you imagine getting?
I was just saying that they do tend to fit the what the reveal is to the person as well. Like like they always said, the reason they chose me for Mastermind was because of my love of the X-Men. So I mean, they do tend to wait and give the figure to someone who they know will enjoy doing it. So
it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but obviously, the bare-chested Wolverine. I do feel sorry for that. For that review.
It's just all I was going to say is you compare like a topless Wolverine to classic Doctor Strange. Like they are on totally different scales. But yeah, no, I was really pleased for him as well. I thought it was a brilliant reveal, and one that have definitely got people talking. So yeah, apart from that, obviously that's your Marvel toy news. The other thing, we had Marvel What If. What was it? Episode 7.
Yeah, Thor.
It was okay.
All right.
It was a bit rubbish. Let's be honest. It
didn't really need to be a story that needs to be told, was it?
No. I actually thought it was more like a Where's Wally episode, because I spent the whole time looking behind Thor, seeing who it is. Like, oh, it's Nebula. Oh, there's Mantis. Oh, look. Look, let's go.
Oh, 100%. Every cutaway, it was like, let's put someone else in the MCU in it. Who else can we throw in here?
Well, Iron Man didn't get killed, and Hank Pym wasn't evil in it, so I kind of feel like that was where it
was a win. Yeah, I don't know. Even just the title, like, what if Thor was an only brother, an only son? It's like, what if Black Widow was on benefits? Like, it's kind of like, what if Tony Stark lost an eye? Like, it's kind of like, do you know what I mean? It was just one of them.
Brilliant. What if Black Widow was on benefits?
But it is. It's one of those times.
Standing there waiting to sign on,
just in the job centre queue, like. No, but it was one of those. I was like, what if Thor was, and they really milked it. It was kind of like, Loki created he created this and created that. And it was like, you know what? I don't think he would have been that far over the, it just.
I do love the pictures of Hera going like, am I just a joke to you?
Yeah.
The thing is, though, I always think, I'm not sure if it's just how I read it, but I always see the Thor storyline of that being that anyway, and Loki's kind of like, hey, I'm over here.
Yeah,
it always feels like Odin favored Thor over Loki, and Loki was the one that was kind of in his brother's shadow, and that's the whole reason why Loki does what he does.
Yeah, if you watch back to the first Thor film, he acts like an only child. He acts like the spoiled, like I'm the spotlight, and that's why he got banished. That's why he went on the journey he did. But yeah, it just seemed like
the story should have been, what if Loki was Odin's only son? That should have been the story.
Yeah.
Shall I tell you the other bit that got me as well? What's Thor's mum's name? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Petra.
Never remember.
Yeah, it's
Frida.
Frida. There we go. Why was she like off on like a girls' weekend as well? It's kind of like Odin was in the sleep, and then she's like, "Right, girls, let's go to Marbella." Like,
she got over it very quickly.
It just didn't make any sense. I was like,
I
don't know what's going on with my Marvel.
It was kind of like going. She just suddenly comes out and is like, "This episode's got to speed up. I'm going. Bye. He's dead."
Yeah, but it just made no sense. I was like, okay, if the story is that we see Thor kind of go off on a different path because he's a spoiled, like, only child. Why is the mum kind of like, okay, he's asleep, sod it, let's go, come on girls, let's party? Like, it was, and she went on some kind of spa weekend. Like, it was just nuts.
Definitely say this is the filler episode of the series so far.
Oh, definitely. You know what?
Go on.
No, go on. Say what?
I was going to say, I think it was mainly done for two reasons. One, to see some more Howard the Duck, because they're loving getting Howard the Duck in at the moment. And two, I think it was just to get another Loki variant. Just to get another Loki variant in.
Yeah, that I liked. I did like
that. Was cool.
Loki as a frost giant. Yeah. But I think, the ending, obviously, we saw the Vision Ultron mashup.
I cared so much more about that last 3 seconds.
But I think that whole episode was just to give us that last 3 seconds, because I don't know how they would have put it in otherwise. I think that's kind of where they were going with it. They were like, we need this let's just make a fun episode.
Yeah.
But even Howard the Duck, like, why did he marry what's her name from Darcy?
Kat Dennings, yeah.
What was that? And then Marvel have even posted out on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff like wedding invitations, like mock-up wedding invitations. They're really making a joke out of it. And I'm like, that's bestiality. Like, it's just there's something to laugh at.
Once you go duck.
Yeah, it is. But it's I like
You're gonna be quackers.
George
do
Lucas
like
is sitting there
that
going,
they're,
vindication.
I do like that they're featuring Howard the Duck more. I think that he's I don't know. I'd like to see him more in the MCU just because he's one of them zany characters, and because also product of the 80s. I loved the Howard the Duck film when I was a kid. It was awful. It was absolutely awful, and there's very questionable parts in it. That's for another video altogether. But I loved it. So Howard the Duck was always one of them characters that I was kind of like, yeah, give this guy some time. But I didn't need to see him marry Darcy. That was just a bit weird. But yeah, I don't know. It was and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea of it was that Thor came to a planet and partied so hard that he destroys the planet with a party. Like I don't know.
I don't know, because you do see maybe it's like maybe it was meant to be a metaphor for American children who have house parties where their house burns down or something.
Yeah.
Well, I think they were struggling. I think they were struggling with a reason as to why Thor came to Earth if Loki didn't exist, because Loki was the reason Thor ended up on Earth in the first place. So technically, they were struggling with crap. How can we get him back down there? Like, he threw a party.
Yeah, I am.
Libations for all.
I don't know. And even the whole I'm calling your mum. I'm calling your mum. Oh no! Like it's just. I don't know. It's just. I think that we'll look back at this whole What If series because some of the episodes have been really good, and then some of them have been a bit of a joke. And I think we'll look back at the series in its entirety, and it will be a couple of key points that will make up the kind of memory of What If. And I think that the only thing that will come from this is that first vision of Vision. Ultron Vision. Yeah. So yeah, but that's all I've got to say about that. I could rant for days about this, but it's I don't know. It wasn't offensive.
So just to clarify for everyone, that was Jake's favorite episode of the series so far.
It was. You know what? Actually, one thing as well is it was the only episode where I was like, sort of with a customizing mentality. It was the only episode that there wasn't a really, apart from the Loki Frost Giant, but obviously he's a taller figure anyway. There wasn't like a 6-inch version that I could go, oh, actually, I could play around and make my version of that to go with my What If setup. There wasn't really unless I do a clean shaven Thor, which I don't need.
Yeah.
So So that's my thoughts.
The sad part is, I think most people have had the same reaction, and I think Marvel Legends going, "Oh, we better not show them that Thor on Monday morning." Because he's got a Funko Pop, he's got all the other merch except the Legend. So I've got a feeling that Legend is coming, and they're currently going, "Crap."
I must admit though, it would be a good.
Much in this.
No, shall I tell you what though? I would get behind that for one reason and one reason only, and that is because we haven't had an updated Thor 1
shaven face
figure.
Yeah.
No, not regardless of the clean shaven part, like the actual body mold.
Right, yeah.
We had that in the kind of the Thor lines. I think I touched on this when I did the Odin review, but obviously we've got the Odin figure now from the Thor 1, but we haven't had an updated version of that suit. So technically that would be what this What If version would be. So I could shoehorn it into I could justify it. Put it that way, I could justify it. But yeah, just switch out the heads for a better one. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to watch it next week.
Do you want to know something that annoyed me this week, like really badly?
Go on, Em.
So in toy news, oh no, I'm gonna cough. The DC multiverse decided to release the 3 Jokers. We were talking about them in the week, and we got really excited when we saw that picture. Yep. And then they announced the wave that's coming, and it's missing a Joker.
I saw that.
The line is the 3 Jokers, and we've only got 2 of the Jokers in the first wave.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Yes.
I saw that.
Why? If anything,
it
release the 3 figures, but release them as a box set or something, and make, charge £100. We'd still pay the damn thing for those 3 Jokers together with a bunch of accessories. But to split them up, 2 of them are in the wave, along with Batman, Batgirl, and Red Hood. And then and then they've announced the 3rd Joker is a US exclusive, and that we're getting him sometime in the future.
Wow.
So
That's one way to manage your franchise.
That made me go, well, I'm going to wait till they announce the third one before I pre-order 2 figures.
Yeah.
Surely they should have released all 3 together. Then more people would have bought them, I think. That just seems like a big blunder. Don't get it.
I totally agree.
Planning.
It was the first thing from Multiverse that I've been excited about in a while as well, because I'm getting sick of all the Batmans. I love the Batman franchise, but there's only so many Batman figures I need on my shelf, and he's getting a bit ridiculous with it. But yeah, the 3 Jokers Batman, was the first. Yeah, the 3 Jokers was the first thing I've seen for a while, and gone, oh, I'm going to get that. And then they've done that.
No,
I just don't get it.
I saw that. I agree.
How odd.
Other things that annoyed me this week. Have we seen the announcement of the new Super Mario Brothers the movie?
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about that before we? Going to talk about that before we move on to Star Wars.
Really. It's interesting choices, but like, because it's a CGI movie, isn't it? It's like a CGI movie. Yeah.
And the voice of Mario from the games, who could have voiced Mario, is voicing other people.
Yeah.
That's really odd.
Why?
I mean, can you imagine being? I can't remember the guy's name, but can you imagine being him and being like, "Oh, they're making a CGI Mario film. I'm going to get the call. I'm going to get the call. Hello, yeah, we're doing a film. Yep. No, I know we are. Yep. Do I want to be in it? Yep, 100%. Sign me up. What? You want me to do other characters?
You're Goomba.
No, I'm the voice of Mario.
Yeah, mate, Chris Martinet is called. He's Chris Martinet, and he's been the voice of Mario for years. He's the famous woohoo voice that you hear from the N64 and all that.
Yeah,
and the fact that he's in it, but he's going to be voicing like the Koopalings and all these little side characters when he is the voice of Mario, and they've got shoehorn Chris Pratt in, they've shoehorned Jack Black in as King Koopa Bowser.
See, that could work. Yeah. No, I think that could work. Like it depends what angle they're going for, but I like Jack Black. And
I can sort of see Charlie Day as Luigi.
Yeah. But the thing that got me about Chris Pratt, though, is he not the voice of Emmett in the Lego film?
Yes, he is.
So if he doesn't do like a voice, like a Mario voice, and he's just then it's just going to sound like Emmett, because you're going to have seen that, I don't know.
I think he is doing a voice because when he did his little reveal video on Twitter, he was like said in his normal voice, like, it's me, Mario. I said, but don't worry, that's not the voice I'm doing. I won't reveal that until the trailer. So it does seem like he's working on a voice. He's probably getting lessons from the guy who's been voicing Mario this entire time.
And did we also hear that it's Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong?
Yes, saw that as well.
Yes. Donkey Kong's now a stoner.
Yes.
And Anna Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach.
Wow, it is a really random cast.
It is, isn't it? It's just
who is popular at the moment.
Yeah, basically is what they've done. And you can tell that I can just see it getting cancelled in about 10 seconds as soon as Chris Pratt does his really offensive Italian accent. I can just hear it coming now. You better get to the pizza shop, Luigi. And cancel.
And we're done. Either that or it's going
Dwayne Johnson
be
as
like,
Cranky
huge.
Kong.
Or it could be massive. Like, can you imagine if it just blows up and it's this brilliant film?
Fair, everyone absolutely hated on Sonic. They did take that away, obviously, and redo it. But when Sonic came out, I really enjoyed Sonic. As like a lifetime Sonic fan, I actually thought it was actually a pretty good, fun movie. And like when the first trailer came out, I was with everyone else like, oh, but then they did listen, they took it away, redid the CGI. But the actual film, I really enjoyed it, and I didn't expect to. So it might be the same thing, maybe.
But it didn't really make many waves, did it? It just kind of happened. Like,
it's done enough to get a sequel, though. It's getting a sequel, so I mean, it's done enough to get a sequel.
Idris Elba as Knuckles.
I know. But it's funny that I see that whenever I played the games, I kind of always imagined Knuckles to sound a little bit like him. I don't know why. But yeah, I can see it.
And if they don't do the song from the 90s, I riot. If we don't hear that god awful fat Italian man going, swing your arms from side to side, come on, it's time to go to the Mario. If we don't hear that, I riot.
I think they should have just got Bob Hoskins in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I started watching that the other day.
Oh, do you know what?
The
As a kid growing up, I loved that film.
Loved
As a
it.
kid growing
Yeah.
up, didn't mind that film whatsoever. I thought that was the best thing ever. Bob Hoskins as Mario fits. It looks all right.
Yeah. And what's his name? John
Leguizamo.
Leguizamo.
That's it. Yeah. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But I watched it. I watched it back recently, and I was like, "This is bad. Like this is awful. Like this is nothing."
Didn't he famously say that he was drunk the whole time?
I think you'd have to be.
It's just all the little. It was so kind of 90s, as in like, okay, what does Mario do? Mario jumps high. Let's just give him really like Sonic spacey boots that make him jump. Like that's like box ticked, right? I was just disappointed about, and wasn't Cooper like a dinosaur as well? Was he like that actual dinosaur? And Toad was like the little Goomba head things, and I don't know.
And the computer repeated itself in a very high pitched weird voice. Devolve.
Yeah. It was. I started it. Literally started it the other day. Again with my son. But I haven't got through. We haven't got to where they go to the land. You know, where they go over.
We
to
need
the
to
thing.
do an episode where we talk about like Howard the Duck, Super Mario Brothers. Like we just go through some classic films one chat. I think
80s,
that's
90s cheese fest.
I tell you what, then before we do go on to Star Wars, there's been one film that's been going around the internet. Have you heard of it? A dinosaur film. Have you not seen it? Right. When we finish, go and look up Velocipasta.
Oh, Velocipasta.
Oh, as in pastor, as in like the religious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
It's a priest that has the ability to turn into a dinosaur, and you are looking at it now, aren't you? And he fights crime and ninjas, and it's just awful.
This is the B-list movie you never knew you needed.
No, but it's the when he turns into the dinosaur, it literally looks like the worst homemade dinosaur suit.
It's a dude just stood up in a dinosaur suit. That is terrible.
Wait till you watch the fight scenes.
I've seen better like cosplays than that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Just remember Troll 2.
Yeah, Troll 2 is amazing. It's on that. It's on that level. It's definitely on that level. But it's been doing the rounds this week. So yeah, if you want a really bad film, I suggest you rent it.
quickly show. This is what came up when I googled it. First of all, though, sorry,
Rexy, you can't come on the arc.
That's not the one. That's not the one. Right, let's move on to something actually good. Let's go on to a galaxy far away. Let's go and talk about Star Wars. Been a massive Star Wars heavy week. You gents take the helm with this. Which way do you want to do this?
That's your choice. What do you want to start with?
I'll go with the 6-inch Boba Fett because he's awesome, but I want him so bad.
Okay,
I'll let you go with the 3-inch. I know you're the 3-inch guy. Oh, didn't mean that in the way that sounded. But they announced obviously the 2 3-inch figures and then the 1 6-inch, and they're obviously all based on Star Wars Droids, the cartoon, or basically how Boba Fett looks in the Christmas special, isn't it? The first appearance of Boba Fett. And
the fateful Wookiee.
Yeah, and it looks absolutely awesome. And I'm loving the card back design. And I'm hoping that if they're making droids like that and they're making the droids card back, surely Ewoks can't be far behind.
That's next.
Really.
They've got
the thing is, though, it's about like existing molds, though. There's one thing I've discovered in both scales. It is about existing molds. So with the Ewoks, it's the characters look so different than, you know, like even their shapes and everything were so different from normal Ewok molds. I wonder if they can actually repaint them to look like Ewoks.
But like the R2 and C-3PO they've released in the 3-inch line this time are new, aren't they? Are they new molds? Because they're like articulated versions of the old ones, aren't they?
I think they're slight remolds, I think, from what I can gather. It's a bit hard to tell because the paint apps make it obviously weirdly look so different that you're kind of questioning whether that's actually the same figures or not.
Yeah.
Same with the Boba. I'm pretty sure he's actually an existing mold that they've just repainted because they did do a holiday special Boba Fett in the Thrilling 30 or the TVC collection many years ago, which I've got some in like all metallic colors, like real world color version, no palette. But this is the first time they've done it droids, and it's coming with the coins.
Yes, the coins
just
are back.
like the original figures. I love it. Which if they start now, we've had the credit collection. Is this like your change collection? Maybe I don't know, but like adding in. But it's gonna be. I do love the coins, and that actually almost swayed me because I'm not a big fan of the R2 and C3PO. I have to confess. Despite the fact I've got the originals somewhere.
As somebody who's kind of got out of the Black Series line, like because I said something and I committed to it, Sorrell, but you know, it's, no, but so somebody like I have backed out of my Black Series collecting, but it's just quickly while we're on that subject, it's been an actual common theme, hasn't it, across the collector groups and stuff. Like a lot of people are getting out of the Black Series line, and figures that raked in quite a lot of money and were snapped up quite quickly have been sat there waiting for ages at a lot less. Like I was really surprised.
I think what it is as well is the Marvel Legends team are very good at keeping people engaged. They're very good at keeping you updated, and they're very good. Obviously, we've got there's a lot going on in Marvel right now as a whole for the company. There's a lot of new things going on. Star Wars is kind of quieting down again. It's winding down a little bit. We've just had the final of the films. Mandalorian 2's for a while off yet. Book of Boba Fett's coming soon, but they've not really shown us anything of it yet. So I think people are kind of like, Star Wars is gone again, so they'll back out of that line. But I'm telling you, the moment the Book of Boba Fett comes out, people are going to want the figures again.
Well, you know what? My mentality with it was because people do say, you know, as soon as it starts up again, people are going to be wanting to buy back what they've sold and that. But you know, I'm out. I'm committed. I'm out of it. But I'm keeping a select few.
Yeah.
But when
Mandalorian figures,
Mandalorian, only
a lot of people are doing that.
Beskar. Only Beskar. That's the only one I kept. I've got a few of the others that I haven't moved on yet, but I don't know where we're going to go with it. But
do you think that when the new like Ahsoka figure in live action form comes out as an action figure, do you think that's where you're going to jump back on and grab one?
That's exactly what I was going to say. And when the Book of Boba comes out, you know there's going to be figures that accompany it. So you know what, if that pulls me in, then I'll pick up a figure for it, or you know, and have a mini display. But I kept my Clone Wars Anakin and Obi because I like them as a design and I like them, so I kept those, and my Clone Wars Ahsoka as well. But yeah, I don't know. But what my point I was going to say, talking about your droids, is that the only Boba I've got is the carbonized, because I was going to keep that one. But that droids one, even as a standalone figure, the way that the paint looks and the design of it and stuff, you could pick that up without being this massive kind of Black Series collector. You know, it's a nice from an outside perspective. Yeah, you could have that, and that would go on your shelf quite nicely.
I've got to say,
sorry, Sorrell, I cut you off.
I think it hits a nostalgia factor for a lot of people as well. That blue sort of coloring, it's very old school looking Boba Fett as well. I think a lot of people would jump on that just because of how it looks. It was always going to be popular when they announced that figure. But no, I was just saying that I know a lot of people that have done what you've done and have said, right, I'm out of Black Series, but I'm going to hold on to these Mandalorian figures because they know that as soon as the next live action thing comes out, people are going to start collecting from the Mandalorian onwards, I reckon. I think old school Star Wars products might quieten down for a bit and people might not be as bothered for them. But I think because of the new live action stuff coming out, I think people will keep hold of Mando and then expand on that when the new figures come out going forward.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point.
So they do need to put some more love into the 3-inch figure line, though. Obviously, because as you know, I'm obviously a 3-inch collector rather than as you so savagely put me down there, Ash. Cut me down. I'm just half the size of Ash. We've established this, but you know, it's main characters that they put into the Black Series line that they've still not even done. They haven't done the Bad Batch in 3-inch scale yet at all. Like not even a single one of them.
I say for that, I was going to say give them chance. We've got the HasCon coming up. I think that'll be a box set exclusive. I don't think they'll wait to release a line of them. I've got a feeling it'll come as a box because the 3-inch figures anyway. I have to see that as a box set easily.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
I need those characters.
From what I've seen, obviously, like with the fact that they've only announced the one Boba Fett figure and all the other 6-inch stuff has been delayed for months on end. But the vintage collection is being pumped out left, right, and center and is arriving in the UK faster than 6-inch. So I think there are more collectors that are going back to that 3-inch scale of the vintage collection now.
Yeah,
well, because you've got such a rich history to be able to expand your collection with, and also like customizing wise, like, you know, obviously there is a huge market for obviously 6-inch customization, as you both know, but there is a huge market, especially for like certain aesthetics and everything for the 3-inch line. And diorama wise as well, because
Yeah.
I did notice a couple of friends who've gone back to 3-inch because of space, because they can get bigger dioramas on a smaller shelf than they could with 6-inch figures, but they can actually create a whole battle on one shelf with 3-inch figures.
As I found recently with mine, my Ewok Village, my little vintage Ewok looked perfect on there because it's to scale. So they look perfect. So I've taken away my vintagey ones and I've put the new vintage collection ones, like the modern vintage collection ones on there now. And I've bought like doubles of them to customize and like take away the little helmets and things to make them as little background characters so I can fill out my village a little bit more. So
awesome.
Perfect. That's what we need, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of my followers have been saying, do you think you'll double down and get some more of the like old school play sets to put the modern figures on? And I'm like, yeah, I can definitely see me doing that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm restoring my Star Destroyer at the moment. I've just done the Dagobah play set. I've just restored that. I'm restoring the Hoth attack base at the moment, all from the vintage line. And also, I upgraded my detention block one, which is from the 90s. They did a layers detention block, and actually it's a really good set with a few little paint details. It really kind of comes alive. But those old play sets, and that you can get that for like a tenner still boxed.
Yeah, and like somebody sent me the 3-inch Ghosts set for my Ewok Village, so I can put the 3 ghosts on the top. And they look even though I'm mixing like old figures and new figures, because they're all 3-inch scale, it kind of goes. They look all right.
Work.
So yeah, I am.
That is something.
I am kind of going more towards the 3/4 inch again.
That's something I think they're really missing out on nowadays. Like, is play sets. Like when when a lot of people that collect now were younger, you had your figure line and you had a play set. Everything happened. You had your He-Man and your Castle Grayskull and your Thundercats, Castle Grayskull, your Thundercats and your I can't remember what it's called now. What was the building called?
I can't remember the name of the building, but I remember
Thundercat.
The Thunder Tank and the Thundercat Castle. You had that. You had your all that kind of stuff. It was always you had the turtles and Ghostbusters Firehouse, turtles, and the sewer playset. Like it was a case of here's a batch of figures, here's a playset, and then maybe here's another series of figures. And I think they're really missing out on that. I think if they did some kind of playset, not Haslab kind of level of price, but just the kind of even under the £100 $100 mark, really simple, stripped back kind of 4 walls of plastic and some detailing, I think they would sell. I think they would absolutely sell like hotcakes. I think that a massive missed opportunity is the Hall of Armor, because obviously they did release I think you got hold of one, didn't you, Sorrell? One of those.
No, mine's the Disney Toy Box version.
That's what I was going to say. The Disney Toy Box. I know they released that, but it hasn't officially come out over here yet, has it?
No, it never reached the UK. It was a I don't know why they did this. It was a DisneyStore.com exclusive. They never released it to the European market, which makes 0 sense.
I'm gutted. I marked up in my head, I needed about 6 of them to make the thing I wanted to make. But it's things like that. Like if they release something like that in the UK market, it would sell. If they release that something more streamlined, it would sell, especially in Iron Man Hall of Armor. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. I just think that they're missing.
Changing. Things do seem to be changing. I've noticed recently, like all the Disney stores have shut, but like today, all the DisneyStore.com and DisneyStore.co.uk websites or Shop Disney are all the same now. And we're getting
really?
Yeah, and all the Halloween merch is dropping the same day in the US and the UK.
Ooh,
so I think the Americans may have retaken over the UK portion of Disney. It seems to be that way because it's like we're getting all the same. We're getting all the parks merchandise, which I normally get imported for me, but they're actually coming to the UK itself now. Like the Hocus Pocus pops that I spent a fortune on and having sent over from Spirit Halloween are now on the Disney Store website today.
Oh man!
So I mean, and they're all 10 quid a piece. So I'm good. But I see that same trend with Hasbro. We've now got the Hasbro Pulse in the UK, and they seem to be getting more and more stuff here quicker. I know it's still delayed at the moment, but that's not their fault. It is factory delays and things like that. But I think things are changing, and they are realizing the UK is a viable market for collectors.
Oh, definitely. So, was there any other figure news, Star Wars wise?
Just the one that was announced at the time of recording, which was from the Republic Commandos game, the Gaming Greats.
I'm still upset, and I don't even collect the line anymore, that they haven't done a Star Killer. They've got this Gaming Greats like angle. and they've not done Starkiller, one of the most iconic.
They gave us the opportunity, right? And people voted for the goddamn Republic Commando. It was you could.
Is that when it came?
They did
really conspiracy.
Was that the fan vote one?
The fan vote one was Starkiller, Republic Commando, Ahsoka Tano, and I forgot who the other one was. It was so nobody cared about the fourth one. Let's put it that way. And
wasn't it a trooper of some kind?
Yeah, it was somewhat random. But the Republic Commando surprisingly won. I genuinely thought that was a shoe-in for the Starkiller figure to get made, but people went for the Republic Commando.
That's
a lot of people are still playing that game, and I guess the original one was so expensive, and it's something people wanted troop build. So I guess a re-release would at least allow them to build an army. That's the if you're doing a fan vote, I think you shouldn't put in a troop builder. You know, stick to just single characters. Or if you're going to do a fan vote, because if blatantly people are going to want to troop build something, then they'll vote more for it because they want to get like 50 of them.
Yeah. I don't know how it goes though, because the Marvel guys did a fan vote not too long ago as well, and you had Silk, Elektra in a white outfit, and Lady Sif, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, Lady Sif. Yeah.
And the lady, we'd had a Silk recently, we had an Elektra recently, and the Lady Sif was the only one that she was in a box set, wasn't she?
Yeah.
That we hadn't had as a single card release, and the Silk won it, took the lead and won it, and don't get me wrong,
figures have dropped in price ridiculously.
Yeah, it's a lovely figure, but it's dropped in price. There's been a massive price drop on them.
Russia's getting in the old vote system.
Yeah, so
there is one little bit extra of Star Wars figure news, which is probably a very, very niche part of this audience, but obviously I'm massive of the vintage collection of Star Wars.
Yeah, it's Yaddle.
I haven't mentioned it once. Why would you say that randomly? I have made no implications of what that is at all.
Oh, see, I thought that was it. I keep my arm here as to what was coming. Sorry, how dare
you? Sorry, it's just these things get left up here by accident.
I love it, but what Ryan doesn't realize is by the time Jacob edits this video, that won't even be in shot.
Yeah,
I'll
just gone forever.
Take it in. It'll just be Ryan's eye.
Just waste of penmanship, that is. But there is some news from the vintage Star Wars world. So I've mentioned in other videos, obviously, about Stan Solo, which is one of the kind of guys who make effectively new vintage figures. So basically making them the same way like Kenner made them back in the day, stylized, really amazing quality. But there's actually a new guy on the scene who suddenly just jumped out of nowhere, called himself, which is a great company name, the Next 17. So I'll send these details over to Jake if he wouldn't mind putting a link in. But I've spoken to the guy. He's really nice, really interesting. The quality is amazing. So this is Ethan Mon from Return of the Jedi. It's just done brilliantly. It feels like a proper original Kenner release. It's a factory injected molded, so it's not 3D printed. So these are people that actually get like factories in China to make these, rather than having all the lines and having to sand them and all that. Has an accessory. It actually came with like a backdrop, cards and stuff like that. But it's a really interesting kind of new player onto the kind of the new vintage figure market. But I would highly recommend it. Based in the Netherlands, but it's an exciting time to be a vintage collector. If you've already collected all the figures, there's actually a lot of stuff sort of coming out this way. I mean, you've got the retro collection from Hasbro, which I know people have mixed feelings on, but I really liked the Mando wave. I thought that was really good fun. I've got them all. But yeah, now the fans are doing obviously their own stuff, and it's amazing. I highly recommend it. Ding.
Nice. No, he looks well cool. Cool.
What about? I mean, are we going to discuss Visions next? Maybe
we can get into that debate. Sorry, that discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, let's talk about Visions. Because
for eagle-eyed viewers might have noticed that we might not have enjoyed.
No, they didn't. I was expecting more fanfare than that. I just literally
there was no build-up.
You guys that told me it was there. I was like, what the hell?
I literally went on there to watch What If, and it came up recommended for you, boom, boom. And I was kind of like, oh, wow.
I've just realized, is it really sad that Disney have advertised a haunted Muppet mansion than they have more than Star Wars?
Yeah, that
does that tell you what this program's going to be like?
Mate, I am well up for that film. I'm not even going to hang on. Wait. We're on Haunted Mansion in a minute. Whoa.
You add Muppets to anything and it's instantly improved.
I am like the Haunted Mansion ride and Kermit the Frog. I was just like, sign me up. Sign me up. Yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed that trailer. But you're right, they put more kind of behind that. But I think it's more of a Disney thing. I think Visions is very niche, isn't it? It's for a very particular kind of type of Star Wars fan. But you are right. I thought there was going to be a huge fanfare for it. I thought they were really going to, because the trailer created quite a buzz when they released that trailer.
Yeah, and they did push it quite. They even pushed, like, I even did a second trailer for it. You know, they really did push it. And then it was a case of, I didn't even know it was on. Like you said, I was actually looking forward to seeing it because I thought, oh, that's going to be interesting to do a different take. And it was only when you put like, oh, did you check out Vision? I was like, what?
I'm going to be honest right now. I am only 3 episodes in because I stopped.
I am 2 episodes in because I was at convention.
That's fair enough. I am,
and I watched them all and have notes.
I'm a fan of anime. Don't get me wrong. I do like anime. When I was younger, I really liked anime. I'm not as up on my anime now as, like, you know, I talk to guys that are into their anime and they talk about all sorts of stuff, and I'm like, whoa. Have you watched The Guyver? Like, you know, but it's let's talk about Akira. Like, but yeah, so I'm not really up on my anime now, but I enjoy it, and I don't even mind the subtitles. I don't even mind reading the subtitles, and you know,
I'm so into anime that I thought my brother was talking about a girl for the first 20 minutes of a conversation once. So I'll put it on that level as to what level of anime I'm into.
Wow. This didn't do it for me. I'm going to be totally honest with you, and I'll give you my opinion very quickly first, because I know that, you know, yours is going to be the polar opposite, Ryan. But I enjoyed it for what it was. As far as anime goes, I was like, you know what, the artwork is there, the style is there, the kind of the movement. I don't know how to explain how I enjoy it, but, like, you know, the movements of it, and it ticked all the boxes for me. But then when I stepped back and I was kind of like, I'm watching Star Wars, that's when it clashed for me. Like, the first episode, I really enjoyed. Like, I really enjoyed that one because it felt more like anime. Like, it felt more like I didn't feel like I was watching Star Wars. It was almost like, oh, look, they got a lightsaber. That they have that in Star Wars.
That's the jewel.
Yeah.
Star Wars with the one with Ronan, the first one, is like the story that they wanted to tell in the sequels. But
yeah,
because it is very much, he is like the Kylo Ren, isn't he? Basically, Ronan. He's a Sith Lord after the Empire and all that.
Yeah,
and then
they are all very short, aren't they?
Well, yeah,
that kind of 14 minutes runtime, I think, most of them.
13 to 22 minutes, apparently, according to the information I have.
You know what? It lost me on episode 2. Episode 2 is where I was like,
Tatooine Rhapsody.
You know what? I did not need a cartoon or anime story about a band that plays in Jabba's palace and is hunted
by Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
That gets hunted by Boba Fett.
It was just madness, and I was like, and I don't know, like, I like the callbacks to the surroundings and the planets, and it was recognizable and everything like that. But I was like, these are characters that I've never seen before. And I'll tell you what it was about episode 2 that really lost it for me. So that the lead singer was a Jedi, right? He was a Jedi that had been, like, lost or abandoned or something. That was kind of, I must admit, I was switching off, and he joined a rock band. But there was that part where his lightsaber was the microphone, wasn't it? At the end, and you're in Jabba's palace, and he's going to execute your friend. And I was like, he's going to rip this off in a minute. This microphone's going to turn into a lightsaber, and he's going to do something cool. He did a fucking encore. Like, it was like, come on, like.
Hey, he changed things with the power of music, man.
Nah, man, that was the Bill and Ted did that. We didn't. You don't need that in anime. Like, it was.
That would have been a good cameo.
Do you think it would have been better? Because this is what I thought. And I bear in mind I've only seen the first 2, but the second one, I admit, I was falling asleep watching it. That was atrocious. But the first one, if they'd have made that into a 90-minute or even a 60-minute special and span out the story a little bit more, I think I'd have got behind that more, because it was a more traditional Star Wars story, good versus evil.
Yeah.
Set in that time after the Empire. It was kind of felt a bit samey because of like the whole things what we've seen already, but it was still a traditional Star Wars story at its core. And I think
even
that
to the
would have done
extent,
better.
yeah, even to the extent where it was a new story and it gave us a new lightsaber. Do you know what I mean? And it was kind of like, okay, so we've got the katana lightsaber and that kind of umbrella thing, and it was like, oh, this is cool. Like we've got
Thing is, though, people are saying that's cool, but everyone kicked off about Kylo Ren's lightsaber umbrella. No one said a fucking word.
no, that's true. That's true. But yeah, I mean, that for me, I was like, oh, this is cool. And even to the extent where obviously he puts it back in the sheath and stuff because it's red. Like, and everyone assumed he was like a Jedi or sort of like a good guy, and he pulls it out and it's a red lightsaber. Like, I don't know, there was just something very cool about that first episode, and I could get behind it, but.
And to use the classic words, everything in it was very toyetic. It was very toyetic. You could imagine
massively.
them releasing that lightsaber as a kid's toy, and kids would buy that. The umbrella lightsaber, you'd buy that shit. You know what I mean?
And
I think
the Death Star droid with a Gatling gun.
Well, if they released a Black Series figure of Ronin, you telling me you wouldn't buy it? Come on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
A badass Japanese samurai Sith Lord.
I'd buy a 3.75-inch one.
The only thing about it that does kind of, I keep saying the only thing that jars, there's a lot of jars for me, but I didn't quite understand the kind of, I know in Star Wars, obviously every planet has a different kind of, system and look and culture and everything like that, but I didn't quite understand how there was this kind of very Japanese looking society on a planet somewhere that we'd never come across before, that we had never been referenced and it was kind of like, if this, I don't know. And I was just like, I don't know. It just,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Go on, Ryan. Ryan's notes. It was good.
Damn it, Jake.
He just got that written down for every episode. It was good. 7 out of 10.
That's a waste of my calligraphy skills.
Go on. Come on, bring it back.
Right.
Bring it back.
So, interesting thing about this series. So, I didn't like every episode. Annoyingly, the one I liked least was the one that I ended on, which was 9, like the final one. That was my least favorite one. I was like, oh, that's a bit of a downward
I've heard
turn.
that one was really rubbish, actually. I have read that that's the worst one out of all of them.
I didn't like the animation. I didn't like the characters. Because each animation is different. And the thing is, like you guys, I'm not really big into anime. Like Dragon Ball Z was probably my sort of the most I sort of knew really growing up as a kid, and I watched a couple of like the Studio Ghibli films maybe when I got a bit older. But even still, I do intend to sort of look at some more films and stuff, but it's just never grabbed me as much. Whereas Star Wars has been pretty much my entire life. Reading lots of different books that take you out of the genres a lot as well, I think probably helps. So when I'm looking at this, like I'm seeing it not as it's set in the Star Wars universe in that respect, as in like you said about why are there like sort of like the Japanese style villages on alien planets, things like that. I think it's because it was more of an art house project. I think the idea was taking the concept of Star Wars, the Star Wars at its core, and giving it to these huge names in sort of anime, and just saying, what would your sort of take on a story set in this universe be? And we have to remember as well that Star Wars at its core is actually based on samurai film itself, and a lot of the principles and everything. So, it's sort of weirdly a nod back culturally, I guess, in that sense. But each episode was very different. The animation was really different. I mean, some of my notes I've got on here. I mean, the funny thing is you've got to look at them all individually. So, very quickly, this is what my favorite note on the first episode was lightsaber umbrella. What just happened? Episode 2, Star Wars music pop group. What? Bib Fortuna looks so strange, but I like droids. 3. Told you, I spent a lot of time on this.
7-year-old school project.
Humans breathe in space, but protocol droid has a helmet. That really confused me. The humans breathe in space without helmets on. The droid comes out with a helmet on. But the armor designs were fantastic in the episode, though. I did say there's a lot of things. Mainly when I'm going through it, I mean, I'm going to do my own sort of videos on each episode, but each one was very different in tone. Each one has a different story. And I think if you watched all of them, you might find that there might be 1 or 2 that you like, some that you absolutely hate. But I think that is it. It's not like so much like What If, where it's like one style, one genre, one thing that's sort of different scenarios. This is like actually just taking Star Wars and effectively giving it to a book, and each chapter it's like a book of short stories, effectively done by completely different authors, and that's the thing you got to look at it as.
I think that obviously I mentioned to you the parallel of the What If. You know, I made the comparison of What If over text, but it wasn't so much that it was the same. I think the point I was trying to make with that was that because they're both going out on Disney Plus, so they are available to casual fans, to like people that don't follow it. Like you could literally, if you've got a Disney Plus subscription, you could come across this and it could be almost your first introduction to that particular franchise. And I think that the shame of it is that it kind of ticks the same boxes to somebody that doesn't know anything about it. It's kind of like, oh, look, Marvel are doing these stories about something completely new and different, animated on Disney Plus. And oh, look, Star Wars are doing Japanese Star Wars animated on Disney Plus. And I think that that's the shame of it, is that to somebody that knows nothing about it, they might group them the same, if that makes sense. But I think
as a cash grab rather than an experiment.
And I think what you said there about obviously, the big names in anime doing it and the short stories, I think it's a really interesting project. And I think I don't think that Disney Plus was the platform that it deserved, perhaps.
No, it doesn't fit in massively with Disney, which is one of those weird things. But then Disney own everything now. But then where else could you have put it? That's the thing nowadays. I mean,
Crunchyroll.
You could have probably put it, huh?
Crunchyroll. If you'd have put it on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, that's true. I guess they're trying to get more people into Star Wars.
Should I tell you
the Star Wars have put a big name on it?
Should I tell you the parallel that I drew to it was the Animatrix? Remember the Animatrix? Yeah. We discussed it a little while back, didn't we?
Yeah. Loved the Animatrix.
That to me was the same. It was the same thing. It was like, you know what? Here's a bunch of stories that we haven't heard in different art styles, in different sort of mediums and stuff, done in an anime style, as a accompanying to sort of accompany the main franchise. The difference is with the Animatrix, and I think I said this when we discussed it before, is that it was very unobtainable for a long time. We all knew it was there, but you either had to get hold of the video or the DVD or whatever it was at the time, or you had to know somebody, or you couldn't just go on the internet and kind of watch them all. You couldn't binge watch them. You had to kind of work to get it. So the reward of watching it at the end, you were almost kind of like, I'm going to give it the time of day because I've chased after this. So I need to kind of give it the respect it deserves. Whereas this, it's kind of like, oh, look, it's on. Let's have a look. No, I don't like that. Skip. And I think that I don't think it was the platform it deserved. It should have gone out at a convention or on a more niche website or something like that to start with. That's my criticism. I think if
it was weird they did it all in one go rather than, if you've got something where you can potentially draw people in weekly, I was very surprised they just basically, like you said, almost like clandestine, like under the cover of darkness, dropped every episode at once.
If they had done it weekly and episode 2 had come out, would you have waited and tuned back in the following week?
Honestly, because it's Star Wars, I would have done.
Yeah, probably, actually. Fair enough.
Me and Star Wars. If it was Marvel, you would as well. We're going to watch it.
If it was just Boba Fett punching an old woman for 20 minutes, she would be like...
I've got that on Blu-ray. The special features are insane.
If it was literally just homeless people wearing helmets from Star Wars, you would be like, that's right.
Holiday special 2.
I am behind this. This is a Star
Revenge
Wars
of Lumpy.
thing. Yeah, no, I get that. I do get that. And for those that enjoy it,
everyone at all, though.
No, but for those that enjoy it, I'm really happy. I'm not gonna run it down. I'm not gonna criticize it. It just wasn't for me. I tried. I loved the first episode. I will revisit it personally, but I'm not gonna binge watch it.
I think check out a couple of the later ones. There's a couple of later which are much more like the first episode in tone, story, and style. There are a couple in the middle, I think, that I lean more towards like episode 2. It is a proper mix, so I would recommend maybe going through them because they're not very long. I think you'll get. I think you might end up really enjoying maybe about like 3 or 4 out of the 9 that are more similar styles to that. But it is such a mixed bag. It's the Forrest Gump analogy, isn't it? It's the box of chocolates, but they're all anime.
Like Sorrell said,
it would be chocolate, but we don't know the filling.
if they announce a Ronin figure, I'm on it. Yeah, I just don't doing my pre-order now. I'm
Barbara said
like,
this is my magic figure.
yeah.
To be fair, with what you said about like if they'd have done it weekly, I think more people would have tuned in for episode 2 after episode 1 because episode 1 was the decent one.
Yeah.
So far from what I watched, episode 1 was a good, decent, rounded episode, and I like that. And I think a lot of people did because of the elements of it, and that's the thing that was advertised the most was this Ronin character, and all of the artwork was based on that Ronin character.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got that second episode that was like, why? I think they wanted it to work just because it had a Boba Fett cameo in it. The shoehorn Boba Fett in there just to get people watching it. I really don't think that.
Great voice talents. I mean, Joseph Gordon-Levitt was the voice of Singing Jedi in episode 2.
Was he?
Yeah, and you got like David Harbour, Lucy Liu.
See, but
so many people are in this.
See, I watched them with subtitles though.
I did. I didn't watch the English one.
I didn't watch the English
one.
Both
versions on there.
Yeah, you have to watch the Japanese. Yeah. If you've watched an anime, you've got to watch Japanese.
Even when there was an option to change it, I just pressed play.
Oh no, I watched.
How do you change that setting then?
I don't know. I just do it.
Play on the home screen, and it was in English.
You have to go to the audio bit at the top, same as Netflix. Yeah. You just change the audio bit to Japanese.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
For me, it's the same as like it's like this is really like off topic, but like it's the same for me for like if you watch like Pokemon movies or Pokemon stuff in English drives me frigging up the wall because the voices are awful. Shove it in Japanese, 10 times more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Really racist down, sorry, but I just love it. It's the best thing ever, isn't
it? It is.
The review was cancelled.
It's just in English, all the stupid Pokemon just say the names over and over again. Pikachu. Shove them in Japanese is like brilliant.
Yeah, it is so much better.
But they're like, you killed my father. Now you must pay. I will kill you all. Never again will you face my dishonor.
For me, if it's anime and stuff, it's how it should be shown is in Japanese with English subtitle. That's how it should be played, not with a god awful overdub.
I'm going to admit now, I'll hold my hands up. I didn't realize that there were any kind of A-list actors tied to this because I just went in straight into the Japanese and watched it as it was. I didn't realize that like David Harbour and stuff were doing voices and stuff. That's
some of the performances are pretty good actually, and I'll actually now go back and rewatch them as they should have been seen with that the Japanese. Obviously, if you go on Wikipedia, they've got the actual cast list side by side, which is quite nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I will have to check them out because I mean, seemingly like James Hong was there. George Takei as well was another one. Came back to do like more voices. I don't know if he was. Yeah, it basically
don't put him in this. He deserves better than this.
Annoyingly, he does pop up in the one that is the worst episode, which is episode 9.
Oh, poor George Takei.
He just comes up and says, "Oh my, wrong franchise," and then he leaves. I reckon that'd be awesome, though, wouldn't it?
You mean like he did? You mean like he did in Heroes, and just more or less just turned up to go, "Oh, I'm here. I'm in this thing too."
Don't get me started on Heroes. Do not get me started.
Don't get started, Jake, on Heroes.
One of the best underrated TV shows of all time.
I loved it. I loved Heroes when that came out.
It was incredible. Incredible.
No one talks about Did you ever watch it either anymore?
I stopped though before they did they sort of re-brought it back, didn't they, for a little bit? I never saw
Heroes Reborn.
Heroes Reborn.
I never saw that.
Where you literally got what's his name? Oh, what was his name? I'm gonna have to go and watch it now. I can't remember his name now. But the dad, the glasses dude.
Hero.
No. Oh, I've totally drawn a blank. But it's basically him. I mean, it's.
Tune in next week for the answer.
Peter Petrelli is still one of my favorite superheroes of all time. When somebody says, "What superpower can you have?" I'd say Peter Petrelli's. Like that's
Peter Petrelli, aka the Peter Parker of the Heroes universe.
Yeah, 100%, pretty much.
Admittedly, I love that series in the first few seasons, the first maybe 3 seasons, because when they were still trying to find one another, they're still trying to work out what was going on, why they had powers. I liked that element. The moment they all got together a bit more and they kind of had like a team, and I got boring at that point, to be honest.
Yeah,
I like those first couple of seasons where like where they're all trying to basically escape or whatever, trying to stay away from the people who's trying to capture him. I love that. And then you had Skylar. Anyway,
brilliant. I think we might have to do a whole Heroes episode just for
Yeah, we're gonna have to
just so
start
I've
doing
got
some not just Geek Weeks in review. I think we're just gonna have to do chuck some just random
revisits,
discussions.
like a deep dive into heroes. Like, yeah.
Well, I'm very excited because coming up in a couple of days, it's Hallow Stream on Disney Plus, my favorite time of year. And Ryan, you are going to watch Hocus Pocus. I'm pointing at your little box on the computer. You are watching Hocus Pocus, my friend. You have to sit and watch it.
You've got to. You've got to see it.
Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker.
But it's Sarah Jessica Parker back when she was still fit.
Yeah.
That would never happened.
You know what? I always fancied her in that film. And then when I found out it was her as a grown up, I was like, oh, I feel dirty. Like, yeah.
I know. I will watch it. I will watch it at some point.
It's more the character than her, isn't it? Let's be honest. You're attracted to the Sarah character. It's nothing to do with Sarah Jessica Parker.
No, it's just the hot witch, isn't it?
Halloween Kills is out soon, though. That's a Halloween film I'm going to watch this year.
What? Sorry,
which one?
Halloween Kills.
Yes, looking forward to that too.
Yeah,
that's so exciting. The thing is, there's how many kills there are in the trailer, so it's going to be like double or triple that in the actual film as well.
But do you not think, right? This is where I get really thinking. They obviously announced that it was going to be a trilogy of films, and that they're going to make a third one, Halloween Ends or whatever. Does that not take away any kind of jeopardy for the characters in this next film?
Yeah.
For me, they kind of have to kill off somebody major in this film to make it worthy of being a movie. Otherwise, you may as well just wait for the third one.
Oh, yeah, because exactly. One of them's going to probably die or cliffhanger death at the end. If they end it on a cliffhanger, I'll be annoyed. But
I've got a feeling it will. I've got a feeling it's going to be like the last couple of Lord of the Rings film, where we're just going to see it seamlessly come together. Yeah, I don't think there'll be an end point. I think it'll just stop and then they'll continue with the next film.
Yeah.
I mean, is there much time between this, the last Halloween and this one? Is it a year?
2 years. Well, it was meant to be a year apart for each film, but because of COVID, obviously it's been a year and another year. So it's been 2 years.
Oh, I meant story-wise.
Oh no, it's seamless, isn't it? Straight through.
So is this one straight on the last one?
We already saw in the trailer that Michael basically broke out of the burning house and killed all the fire crew. So
yeah.
That's how we survived that.
That thing, when they do that bit with that, and then they cut to like 8 months after that, they'll show you that first 5 minutes. I'm just curious. I'm just excited. I'm just excited to see another Halloween film in the cinema. I enjoyed the last one so much.
And they've got some more of the original Halloween characters obviously coming back in this one as well, which is quite interesting.
No Paul Rudd though. They did apparently did I read that they approached him or something like that, and he couldn't do it for whatever reason. Because of common sense, maybe. I don't know.
We've obviously got Halloween Kills, Chucky the TV series. Well excited about that. That's coming out very soon, and that's Halloween based as well. The first several episodes are during October, November. Perfect time for it, and all the episodes are based on Halloween night. So looking forward to that.
It's gonna be some good ones. We got to do some Halloween Geek Weeks in a review. Obviously, during October.
I was talking to Jacob about it because we've got Hallow Stream coming up anyway. Each week we've kind of got something new to talk about, from the Muppets Haunted Mansion to Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales. If you haven't seen the trailer for that, please go watch it. That looks stupidly hilarious. And then they've obviously got all the classics on there. Like I say, you need to watch you need to watch Hocus Pocus, mate. You need to watch it.
Yeah,
coming back on.
The more you tell me to watch it, the less I want to watch it.
And the very cheesy Disney Disney original movies that were Halloween Town. If you've never seen that, oh my god, go watch that. That is crazy. It's like an acid trip.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they've got all the good films are coming back on Disney in the next week. So I'm well excited.
Yeah, I definitely.
Do you guys want to see a really random purchase this week?
Go on.
Go on him.
Can anyone identify what line this came from?
No.
I'll give you one clue. Robin Williams.
It's Hook.
It is.
Oh.
It's a cart from Hook.
Yeah.
I thought it was Robin Hood because it also came with a bunch of Kenner Robin Hood figures. I'm going to use it in my Ewok sort of display because it looks very much like the old sort of Kenner Ewok stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. How random is that? There was I know there was a figure line, but there was a vehicle line for Hook as well.
And
nice.
The only good thing about that film was Rufy. Oh,
there was a lot of good things about that film. I would defend Hook. I was always terrified of being stuck in a treasure chest with Chinese scorpions and being dropped into the ocean after that.
But one of the pirates a woman as well, and it was I forgot who it
Glenn
was now, the
Close.
cameo. Glenn Close, yeah, really famous.
Yeah.
How random's that? Yeah.
Oh.
Come on, what's the
go.
purchase this week? Everyone's going to show some purchases. Come on.
Man. My random purchase this week, I couldn't resist. I've been stupidly enjoying the Elvira comics because I'm an absolute nerd, and I've got my second graphic novel of Elvira. Sticking with Elvira, I had to get the Living Dead doll because reasons.
Amazing.
The only Living Dead doll with breasts as well, which is hilarious. And Stephen King's Creepshow.
Oh, nice.
Graphic novel. The graphic novel of Creepshow.
Amazing. Creepshow, that's an underrated.
Yeah, it is, man. And it's still in that. It's in the proper traditional old school form as well with the
old school
and everything. Yep.
Beautiful. Yeah. I didn't have a random purchase this week. My Sentinel arrived. That pretty much took over my week. But one thing I will say as well, there's been a lot of complaints about this Sentinel, and there's been videos complaining about X, Y, and Z and all the rest of it. But notice he has been stood behind me the entire time. Like he's not attached to anything. He's not leaning on anything. Like he is literally there. Yeah. Without any issues. without any issues whatsoever. So if nothing else, this Geek Week episode just proves that he's in a very vanilla pose, but that's my little.
Have we literally bored him stiff, and that's why he's not moved?
Yeah, I super glued it. But I haven't, and I haven't touched the knees. I haven't done any of the fixes that we've seen people talk about, tightening screws and stuff. Like he's literally out of the box.
And people Hasbro have been very, very clear in emails and things to let people know that if they do tamper with the figure, with the knees,
it ruins your warranty.
Voids the warranty completely. So
so I haven't touched him at all, but he does just for the sake of the other side of the argument, he's been stood up there this entire time without anything. One thing I will say though that I have to show you because you will appreciate it, but it has to be the biggest box that I've ever seen in my life for an action figure. Like, look at it just. Yeah, that is so the box and the artwork on it. Like, I know you've seen a million videos and a million pictures of this, but literally, it did not disappoint in the slightest. It was very cool, very very cool.
Awesome. I have if we're done for news, I've got a fun little game just to quickly play between the three of us to end the week on.
Go on, Em.
Everyone has to go have a turn and guilty pleasure film that most people wouldn't like, but you like.
Is this PC or okay? I personally no. Go on,
I'll go first. So I'll start off to give you guys some time to think. So mine, a guilty pleasure film, is Virus, 1999, Jamie Lee Curtis. It's based on the comic book series. There's the graphic novel. It is as close to Quake 2 in regards to sort of enemies. It's about like a virus that comes down from space. And it's on a Russian ship, and the machine comes alive, and it rips people apart and rebuilds them into these grotesque creature type things. It's a survival, pick them off one by one type thing. The special effects are awesome.
That?
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen that film. I know which one that is. Yeah.
It's awesome, but I mean, she famously hates it and takes it to people as a party gift about how much bad films it is. But I absolutely love it. That's my guilty pleasure. Who wants to go next?
All right. I'll put this on the spot.
See, right, guilty pleasure, right? The Virus isn't a guilty pleasure. That's a half decent cheesy movie.
It's very much film. Hated.
Guilty pleasure is like me admitting something really weird. Because I have a guilty pleasure like yours. Like my guilty pleasure film would definitely be Trick or Treat.
Yep,
the Halloween omnibus film. Love it.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna be more funny about it, my proper weird one would be that I am literally obsessed with the what would you call it? Disney's Descendants. That's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, okay.
That's definitely a guilty pleasure. You know what? I'll watch them with my kids for the first
Hey,
time.
my kids are not
and
even old enough to understand it. So
I can get behind it. Mate, you've got all that to enjoy when but I can get behind that. I was like, yeah, this is cool. This is cool. All right. So in the same line as what the ones that you've said there, I think mine would be Starship Troopers. I must have seen it 1,000 times.
Hey, I watched it
easy.
yesterday
Like,
on Disney Plus.
At one point, I literally watched it every night. I had it on DVD, and it would be the film I'd watch every single night without fail from beginning to end. I knew it word for word, and all of the sequels were crap. Like, they were absolutely terrible. But that first one just held up.
Got the sequel.
Just held up. Oh, I know.
What I love about that film, though, if you watch that film now, it still holds up. The guns, the animation for the monsters and stuff,
For the bugs,
it adds up. It still looks pretty decent.
Yeah.
Even the political commentary still like.
Yeah. Oh, the social commentary is like more prevalent now than ever. Let's be honest.
I know. And the shower scene
over the trailer.
And there's a shower scene, which was the great thing of most films in the 80s and 90s. You know, if you didn't have a shower scene, then you weren't going to make it big. But no, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And
for me, that film was like the film that I could quote the most as a child, like as a young lad growing up. That was the film that everyone watched.
Would you like to know more?
Yeah. Are you doing your part?
It's well, thanks for watching the Geek Quick. Would you like to know more? it's right. Yeah, no, okay. I have to think about that one properly. I'm gonna have to think about that one properly about what my actual guilty pleasure is.
Them kind of films that we've mentioned, they're not guilty pleasures, man. Guilty pleasure. I tell you what, like you still watch Hocus Pocus 30 times a day. You know what I mean? That's a guilty pleasure.
No, I'll tell you what. If I'm going to be
Girls.
honest about me,
Mean Girls.
Close.
Great film.
My daughter's now at the age where she's liking all these kind of like rom-com kind of teenage fix, and I sat down and watched The Duff with her the other day, and we watched Kissing Booth, and I literally sat down and watched the whole films, and I was like, yeah, I can get behind this. Like, you go, girl. Like, go on, you have that makeover and show everyone that you're a sassy young, like. And my daughter went, why do you like these? I was like, I don't know, they're like feel good films. They're like cool. Like, so that's my guilty pleasure. I can sit down with my 10-year-old daughter and enjoy the same film. So
it would be a good experiment. Show her You've Got Mail as a rom-com, because she'll be more confused about what all the technology is rather than
oh, I know.
the actual rom-com subtext. Another great film. Just throw it out there.
Oh.
For me, like I grew up. Well, I didn't really grow. I was far too old for it when it came out. But I mean, High School Musical. I kind of grew up, and that kind of was at its height. Then Camp Rock, and then there hasn't been like a. But then there wasn't like a Disney musical for a while, and then Descendants came out, and because I'm like I really do like your fairy tales, your Brothers Grimm, and all that kind of stuff. Seeing that these were like the kids of those characters was hilarious. I thought that was a cool concept.
Have you seen there's an animated? You've seen that there's an animated Descendants on Disney Plus?
Me and Payne watched that twice already.
Yeah. We're on our third view, and I think
this is actually just how I get dirt on everyone. This guilty pleasure game has just come right there.
But I think that's it. I think that's about it for a week. It was a very Star Wars themed week, wasn't it? Anything else to add before we kind of finish it up?
There's no other toy news. Nobody wanted to compete with that Boba Fett. I'm telling you. I literally was looking at the beginning of the episode. That's probably what you could hear when I was typing. I did go on Toy Arc and have a quick look because that's my usual go-to spot for toy news. And literally, there is not much else going on this week other than Star Wars. Other than the 3 Jokers as well. Everyone laughing about the 3 Jokers. We've only got 2 of them. That was it.
So weird.
Nothing else. Nothing else.
No.
So something's got to drop this week, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. All right. Well, then let's round it up there then, gents. Obviously, if you enjoyed the show, please do like, share, subscribe, all those things. Do check out the description below for all of the links that have been mentioned. And we'll be back again next week with episode 16, I think it is now. Wow. Maybe a guest, maybe not a guest. I don't know where we're at yet. But please do like, share, subscribe. And if you are listening to podcasts, then please do check out the links as well. Podcast views are going up, which is cool, which is a really cool thing. There are a lot of people tuning in and listening to podcasts. So I just wanted to give that a shout out. If you are listening on podcast, please do check the links out. To
be fair, I genuinely do have people actually messaging me now saying when's the next episode up. So I mean, people are starting to message me about it.
which is pretty cool.
Very
It's pretty cool. And if there is anything that you want us to discuss or that we haven't touched on, then please do drop it in the comments, and we'll do our best to approach that. Yeah, until say again.
That's a minefield.
That's dangerous.
That's danger zone.
It's. I'll just edit that.
Please,
no, I won't.
Have an entire episode based on Yaddle.
This is where I become the Yaddle fan club president, isn't it? By default, I get nominated the Lord of Yaddle.
Lord of Yaddle. That sounds. That is a note to end it on. Right. So anyway, let's round it up. Thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Till we see you next week. Keep it geek.